Welcome to Sleepy Science, where tonight we drift softly into the secret rhythms of nature. Imagine forests that breathe and whisper through their roots, deserts that hum under the wind, and rivers that flow hidden beneath the sand. You'll meet flowers that change color to guide their visitors, animals that navigate using stars, and glowing creatures lighting the depths of the ocean. These are the quiet, hidden wonders of our natural world, mysteries that move, grow, and survive all around us, often unnoticed. So settle in, let your mind wander through the gentle heartbeat of Earth, and don't forget to subscribe to explore more of nature's calming secrets. Stay with me and let the world's softest marvels carry you towards sleep. Life often begins in places we rarely look, in quiet corners, in gentle shadows, in tiny pockets of warmth that feel almost forgotten. Some species have origins that drift far from what we imagine. Creatures that seem simple, yet carry stories that feel impossibly deep. Still holding tiny echoes of ancient Earth inside their bodies. Not fossils, not memories, just patterns written quietly into them. Patterns that survived time. Patterns that still breathe. Some origins feel almost unreal, like the horseshoe crab, a creature older than dinosaurs, still walking the same coastlines, still carrying blue blood that protects it in ways science is still learning. Or the jellyfish that can reverse its own aging, drifting back to youth when conditions change, as if life inside it refuses to end. Nature hides such beginnings softly, never loud, never obvious, just waiting for someone to notice. Plants hold mysteries too. They move without muscles, react without brains, decide without thought, yet they sense the world with a calm precision. Some plants can hear vibrations. Some shift their leaves when touched. Some release signals when harmed, whispering warnings through the air, telling nearby plants to prepare. They do this without fear, without panic, just a quiet response written into their design. A system older than us, and maybe wiser. Memories in nature appear in soft ways, not stored in minds, not locked in thoughts, but carried in chemicals. A plant can remember a cold night, a shock of heat, a sudden drought. It stores these events in tiny molecular marks, marks that change how it grows, marks that shape how it survives. Some marks even pass to the next generation. A memory traveling through seeds, a reminder that life does not forget, even when nothing seems to think. Microscopic life moves through the world with its own strength, simple, but far from weak. There are tiny organisms that survive extremes that feel impossible. Life that lives in boiling vents under the ocean. Life that sleeps in deserts for decades. Life that wakes with a single drop of water, then continues as if nothing happened. They drift through vacuum, frozen, silent, still alive, waiting for warmth, waiting for gentle pressure, then slowly returning, as if waking from a soft dream. Nature hides these beings in places we overlook, in thin layers of soil, in pockets of ice, in drops of rain. Life that begins again and again, life that begins again and again, light, quiet, persistent. It does not rush, it does not rush, it does not struggle in the way we think. It simply continues, carrying ancient instructions inside tiny structures. Instructions written when Earth was young. Instructions still followed today. Some species begin their lives in ways that feel almost poetic, like frogs that grow inside leaves filled with rainwater, suspended above the forest floor, held in a single trembling drop, staying hidden for years before rising for just a brief moment beneath the stars. A lifetime lived in silence, then one final night in the open air, a soft ending that feels calm, peaceful, complete. Deep in the ocean, new life appears under pressures that crush metal. Yet small, delicate forms grow there, glowing with natural light, feeding on heat rather than sun, beginning their existence in darkness so complete it feels endless. They thrive there because nature shaped them quietly, shaped them to belong to the deep, shaped them to endure what seems impossible. Every origin is different, some loud, some quiet, some hidden beneath layers of rock, others floating just below the surface of water. But all carry the same gentle truth. Life begins softly, slowly, almost invisibly, and even when nothing seems to happen, something always is. A cell dividing, a seed opening, a pattern forming, a story starting. The hidden beginnings of life remind us that nature does not need attention to create beauty. It does not need applause, it simply works in silence. It builds in small steps. It grows because growth is natural. Life does not force itself. It expands with patience. When we watch these quiet origins, we realize how much exists beyond our sight, how many stories unfold without sound, how many secrets stay tucked in forests, oceans, deserts, and mountains, each one small, each one gentle, each one part of a world far older than us. The more we look, the more we find. Tiny clues that explain how life formed, why it changed, how it survived every shift in Earth's long history. These clues are often soft, easily missed, a change in color, a shift in shape, a slow movement at dawn, but every detail adds to the greater story. And in these stories we see something comforting. Life adapts. Life persists, life persists, life begins again and again. No matter how quiet the environment, no matter how harsh the world becomes, something always emerges, something always starts new. That gentle persistence feels calming, almost like a slow breath from the planet itself. This soft unknown invites us to slow down, to breathe, to listen more carefully, to notice the delicate processes hidden around us. You may never see a microscopic creature surviving in ice, or a plant storing memories in its cells. But they are there, quietly working, quietly living, quietly shaping the world. And as we step deeper into these mysteries, something shifts. Curiosity softens. The world feels bigger, slower, more peaceful. You begin to realize that nature is not chaotic. It is calm, intentional, patient. Every beginning carries its own rhythm. Every origin carries its own breath. And every soft mystery moves us a little closer to understanding the quiet brilliance of life. Forests breathe in ways we rarely notice. They move with a quiet intelligence, a slow awareness, a presence that feels almost alive. When you walk beneath their branches, something subtle surrounds you, a calm, a warmth, a sense that the trees know you are there. And maybe they do. Because forests listen, forests respond, forests communicate in soft, hidden ways. Some signals float through the air, light chemicals drifting between leaves, invisible messages that warn, or prepare, or comfort. When a tree is stressed, it sends out tiny airborne whispers, a faint signal that nearby trees can sense. They adjust their defenses, shift their chemistry, strengthen themselves before danger reaches them, all without sound, all without thought, just quiet survival, a reminder that even stillness has conversation. These messages feel delicate, almost like breath, a slow exhale from one tree, a gentle inhale from another, a loop of communication that never stops, never sleeps, always moving through the forest. The more we study it, the more it feels like something alive beneath the silence, a soft behavior hidden in plain sight. But the air is only a small part of the story. Most of the forest's communication happens below, in the soil, in darkness, in the cool, damp spaces where roots stretch like fingers. Down there, a network forms, a network older than any machine, older than human memory. a system built from roots and fungi woven together so tightly that the forest becomes something more than individual trees. It becomes connected. Scientists call it the underground network. But it feels more like a quiet circuit, a natural wiring that carries information. One tree touches another through shared soil. Nutrients move, signals move, warnings move, warnings move. A struggling tree can receive help from one that is strong. A dying tree can send its last resources to younger ones, as if giving a final blessing, a final breath of life before it fades. Fungi help this system grow, thin strands stretching in every direction. So fine they look like threads of moonlight. They attach to roots. They expand the reach of trees. They create bridges beneath the ground. Bridges that carry messages with surprising accuracy. A trembling in one part of the forest is felt in another. A shift in water, a change in minerals, a sign that something is coming. Everything travels through the network in slow, patient waves. Some call it the wood wide web, a soft grid, a natural intelligence, a forest's quiet mind. And once you imagine it that way, the forest feels different. Not just trees standing together, but a single, breathing community. In some places, that connection becomes even stronger. There are forests made not of individuals, but of one organism, one being that spreads through the soil, one life with many trunks. The most famous is Pando, a trembling aspen colony that looks like thousands of separate trees. But they are one, connected by a single root system, one organism stretching across a vast landscape, one body, one heartbeat, one memory. When wind moves through Pando, the forest shivers gently, leaves trembling, branches swaying, but beneath the surface, something still holds it all together. A root system, older than most civilizations, older than the stories built around it. That root system decides how the colony grows, how it heals, how it changes shape. Pando may be the largest organism on Earth, and it grows in silence, a giant hiding in plain sight. Forests like this show us something important. Trees are not alone. They never were. They act together, move together, move together, move together, move together, adapt together. And sometimes they behave like a single organism, a slow giant with many limbs reaching toward the sky, many eyes of bark, many hands of leaves, but one intention, one rhythm, one awareness shaped by centuries of growth. And the more we learn, the more these behaviors feel almost emotional. Not conscious, not human, but soft, gentle, caring in a way nature often is. Trees send nutrients to relatives first. They protect seedlings that share their genes. They slow their own growth to let others reach the light. A quiet sacrifice written into their biology, an instinct older than thought, a pattern that speaks in the language of patience. Every forest carries its own secrets, its own ways of sharing, its own hidden pulse. Some slower, some send messages across wide distances, others keep their conversations close, but all are connected. All are constantly aware of the world around them, even when the air feels still, even when nothing seems to move. There is something calming about that idea. A living network that stretches beneath your feet, a soft grid of roots and fungi whispering to one another, asking if there is enough water, enough sunlight, enough nutrients, a community checking in, reaching out, holding together through storms, droughts, and seasons of darkness. And when you stand in a forest, you stand in the middle of it, surrounded not just by trees, but by an entire system working silently around you. A system that has been communicating for ages, long before humans understood it, long before technology tried to copy it. The forest does not need speed. It does not need noise. Its messages travel in slow waves, calm, steady, certain. As you go deeper, something shifts. The ground feels softer, the air cooler, the trees taller, their presence stronger. You can almost sense the messages passing around you, a slow murmur beneath the soil. Lair Jub, God, Gob, One. Or God Jub, God Jub, God. A vibration of life that touches everything. It feels ancient, it feels peaceful. It feels like you are walking inside a giant that does not mind your presence, a giant that simply continues, year after year, breath after breath. And as we move from these forests into deeper ecosystems, the mysteries only grow. The connections between life become more intricate, more delicate, more surprising. Each step forward reveals another secret, another pattern of survival, another soft behavior hidden beneath the surface of the world. The forest leads us gently, slowly, quietly, into places where nature speaks in even softer tones, places where life works in shadows and water, where signals flow through sand and stone, where entire ecosystems breathe together in ways we never expected. And as we follow these paths, something inside us slows too. A soft hook pulls us deeper, a curiosity that relaxes more than it excites, a calm desire to understand what lies below the surface. What moves in darkness, what whispers across the living world. The deeper we go, the more the planet feels alive. And the more we begin to listen. Animals move through the world with senses far softer than ours, quiet senses, hidden senses, abilities that feel almost supernatural. Yet they are natural, ancient, carefully shaped by time. And when you watch these animals closely, something becomes clear. But through signals drifting gently through the environment, signals that never reach us, signals that guide them home again and again. Some birds look to the night sky for direction. They travel across continents using stars as a map. They lift their wings, rise into the dark, and let starlight guide them across thousands of miles. Even young birds, flying for the first time, seem to know the patterns above, as if the night sky is written inside them, a soft memory placed there before they ever took their first breath. And when clouds hide the stars, they wait, calm, patient, resting until the sky clears, then continuing their long, quiet journey, each wing beat synced with the universe. This instinct feels fragile, yet the precision is astonishing. A bird can read constellations without understanding them. It notices how the patterns shift, how the sky moves, how the darkness bends around light, and in that rhythm it finds its path. A soft hook pulling it toward distant lands, a pull so strong it returns to the same trees, the same cliffs, the same quiet spaces where its family once lived. As if the stars themselves are whispering directions. But navigation goes deeper than starlight. Many animals sense something we cannot feel at all, a field that surrounds the earth, a magnetic blanket always present, always humming. This magnetic field becomes their compass, invisible lines stretching across the planet. Animals feel these lines as easily as we feel wind. Some sense them through tiny crystals in their bodies, microscopic particles of magnetite that turn ever so slightly. A gentle pull, a soft tilt, a direction whispered inside their nerves. Sea turtles carry this sense from birth. They hatch on warm sand, they crawl toward the waves, and once in the water, the magnetic field becomes their guide. They swim across entire oceans, following invisible lines for years. Then they return to the same beach, the same sand, the same quiet stretch of shore where they began, guided by a sense that feels like a soft thread tied across the planet. Whales use this field too. Their long migrations depend on it. They glide through dark waters, slow, calm, confident, feeling the magnetic pull shaping their route. Even when storms rise, even when the sea becomes rough, they move forward with a deep certainty, a gentle trust in something ancient and unseen. Some animals take this sensing even further. They navigate the hidden world beneath the ground. Mole rats move through tunnels with almost no light. They cannot see the path, yet they know exactly where to turn, exactly where to dig. Their bodies sense the earth's field like a subtle vibration, a faint hum in the soil. They follow it effortlessly. It becomes their landscape, their map, their safety, all felt through darkness. And darkness itself creates new senses. Some creatures spend their entire lives where light never reaches. Caves, underground labyrinths, places where shadows are not temporary but permanent. In these worlds, animals evolve senses shaped only by darkness. Soft senses, delicate senses, tenses toned to the faintest movements around them. Blind cave fish glide through black water using pressure waves. Their bodies detect even the slightest ripple, a stone shifting, a small insect passing by, a small insect passing by. The flow of currents brushing against their skin. They do not see the world, they feel it. Every movement becomes information, every vibration becomes a guide. In the deep ocean, where sunlight disappears just a few meters down, animals possess their own glow, a soft blue, a pale green, gentle lights pulsing from their bodies. They use it to communicate, to hunt, to hunt, to hide, to navigate the shifting darkness. Bioluminescence becomes their language, a slow flicker, a calm shimmer, a message carried between creatures that rarely meet the surface world. And deeper still, beyond where submarines can safely reach, life senses the world through pressure and heat. It was thinguish tiny crustaceans detect changes in temperature too small for us to feel. They follow these warm threads through crushing darkness, threads that lead them to vents where life thrives in silence, a soft ecosystem glowing faintly in the black. Animals that live in darkness learn to trust other senses. Echoes, vibrations, magnetic lines, gentle electric fields drifting through water. Sharks use these fields to locate prey hidden beneath sand. They sense the electric heartbeat of living creatures, a faint pulse, a soft signal, a whisper of life, and they follow it without hesitation. Some birds sense storms before clouds appear. They feel changes in air pressure long before humans do. They lift into the sky early, or they hide, or they change their migration path entirely, a quiet decision made from a subtle shift around them. A shift we never feel, a shift they always do. These hidden senses pull animals through the world with grace, a grace that feels hypnotic, slow, confident, as if they move through a different reality, a reality layered beneath the one we see, a reality we can only imagine, and this creates a soft curiosity, a desire to understand how the planet feels to them, how the magnetic field hums against their skin, how stars look from their eyes, how the deep ocean glows in its own quiet rhythm. These thoughts pull us in, hold us, lead us deeper into the calm unknown. Patterns we never notice, yet they guide migrations, feeding, nesting, survival, life moving slowly across continents, across oceans, across deserts and forests, and all of it happens quietly. No rush, no noise, just gentle navigation through a world full of invisible maps. As we move deeper into the next spaces of nature, these hidden senses guide us too, not in the way animals feel them. These hidden senses guide us too, not in the way animals feel them, but in the way curiosity settles into us, softly, calmly, a slow pull into the mysteries that lie beneath the surface of life. There are still more layers to explore, more hidden systems, more quiet wonders waiting in the dark places of the planet, and each step forward brings us closer to understanding how much more there is to see. When you follow these animals into the unseen, the world becomes softer, deeper, more peaceful, and you begin to feel that the earth has many ways of speaking, most of them quiet, most of them gentle, most of them waiting patiently to be noticed. Plants appear still, quiet, simple, but the more we look, the more surprising they become. They hold powers we rarely expect, abilities that seem almost magical, behaviors that feel intelligent without needing a mind, and the deeper you go into their world, the more you feel a soft wonder settling in, a calm curiosity pulling you forward, a gentle hook inviting you to keep listening. Some plants generate heat, soft warmth rising from their petals. They use this heat to attract pollinators, to wake themselves early when the world is still cold. The skunk cabbage does this with ease. Snow can fall on it, ice can wrap around it, yet inside it stays warm. It burns stored energy to control its temperature, almost like an animal, almost like a heartbeat hidden in a flower. And when you see the steam rising from its center, it feels alive in a way plants usually don't show. This warmth creates small pockets of comfort, a tiny haven for insects on cold mornings, a safe place to land, a place to rest. The plant does this without thought, without intention, but the effect is gentle, kind, a quiet exchange between life forms, a warm glow in a cold landscape, and that glow becomes a hook, a whisper that plants may be more than we expect. Some plants change their colors, not slowly, but dramatically, quickly shifting hues to attract or defend. Flowers adjust their shades as they age. Some turn deeper when pollinated, as if signaling, "I'm done, choose another." Others brighten when they need attention, flashing colors to stand out. Their pigments respond to light, heat, and touch. Tiny chemical decisions flowing through delicate petals. A soft intelligence moving through color. In forests, leaves change for different reasons. Some turn red to defend themselves from sunlight. Some shift yellow when nutrients drop. Some darken to warm faster in the morning. Every color holds meaning. Every shift carries information. The forest becomes a silent painting in motion, a message written in pigments, a quiet transition that feels almost emotional. Then there are plants that behave like hunters, carnivorous plants, gentle forms with sharp instincts. They survive in poor soil by turning to the world around them. They lure, they trap, they digest, slowly, patiently. It confirms, it decides, a plant making choices through touch-sensitive hairs, simple, yet surprisingly precise. Pitcher plants offer a different approach. They create deep pools filled with enzymes. Their nectar attracts insects. The walls of their pitchers are slick, slippery, impossible to climb. One misstep, one slide, and the insect falls into a quiet chamber. A place where the plant feeds silently, slowly breaking down what it needs. A calm process, no rush, no sound, just nature doing what it must to survive. Sundews use glistening droplets, sticky spheres that shine like morning dew. Insects land. They get stuck. The plant gently curls inward, slowly folding around the trapped creature. A slow-motion movement that feels almost deliberate, but it is simply chemistry, a soft strategy shaped over time. These plants show survival in ways we rarely consider. They teach us that intelligence can be slow, soft, quiet. It does not need speed. It does not need a brain. It just needs adaptation. Some plants even change their shape, not over seasons, but within hours. They use water pressure inside their cells to move, to fold, to twist, to shift. Mimosa pudica closes when touched, leaves folding gently, as if shy, as if startled, but the motion is mechanical, a release of pressure, a tiny pulse of change that travels through the plant. Still, it feels alive. It feels responsive. You touch, it reacts. A conversation made of small movements. Other plants adjust their posture daily. Sunflowers follow the sun, turning slowly, quietly, always facing warmth, always seeking light. Their internal clocks guide them, a rhythm similar to ours, a circadian pulse that tells them when to move, when to rest, when to grow. Even in complete darkness, they maintain this rhythm, as if they remember the sun in their own quiet way. In dry landscapes, plants shift to survive heat. Some collapse slightly to reduce area, some curl inward to protect moisture, some change the angle of their leaves so the harsh midday sun slides off them. Tiny adjustments, almost invisible, but each movement helps them endure, helps them continue through long seasons of drought. A slow choreography of survival. On the forest floor, shape-shifting takes a different form. Ferns unfurl slowly, spirals opening over days, mushrooms rise overnight, lifting from the soil in eerie silence. Roots twist around stones with purpose, seeking water, seeking space, seeking life, and as they move, the forest shifts too, a landscape always alive beneath the calm surface. Some plants mimic others. Orchids imitate the shape of insects. Their petals appear like wings, their center like a body. They fool pollinators with gentle precision, a perfect illusion formed in petal and color. The insect lands thinking it found a mate. Instead, it carries pollen away. A subtle trick, a quiet strategy, no malice, just survival shaped through beauty. No malice, just survival shaped through beauty. Other plants copy their surroundings for protection. They look like rocks, like dead leaves, like patches of moss. They hide in plain sight, safe in stillness, safe in silence, and unless you look closely, you never notice them. That hidden nature creates a soft mystery, a hook that pulls you deeper into the quiet intelligence of the plant world. As you explore these abilities, you begin to understand something gentle. Plants are not passive, they are reactive, adaptive, intentional in their own slow way. They sense light, they sense gravity, they sense touch, they sense chemicals in the air. They even sense neighboring plants, and they respond, not with speed, not with emotion, but with calm adjustments, subtle signals, soft movements that shape their future. This softness becomes the beauty of plant intelligence. It is quiet, it is patient, it is woven into every part of their being. You don't see it unless you slow down, unless you watch closely, unless you let yourself drift into the pace of nature, a pace that moves like a slow breath. And as we move deeper into the hidden systems of the natural world, these gentle powers guide us forward. They remind us that intelligence exists everywhere, not just in minds, but in patterns, in reactions, in quiet adaptations. Plants teach us that life does not need noise to be complex. It does not need speed to be remarkable. It moves in silence, yet carries incredible power. When you sit with these thoughts, the world around you feels softer, calmer, more alive, and the mysteries ahead feel even more inviting. Some forms of life change quickly. They adapt, they shift, they evolve with every new pressure, but others stay almost exactly the same. They move through time like quiet travelers, unhurried, unchanged, perfectly shaped for their world from the very beginning. And when you look at them, it feels like looking backward through millions of years, a soft window into a past that still lingers, a gentle hook pulling you deeper into the story of time. Horseshoe crabs are one of these ancient survivors. Their shape hasn't shifted in hundreds of millions of years, long before the first dinosaurs, before the first birds, before the first trees that looked like the forests we know today. They crawled along the shores with their curved shells and delicate legs, quiet, patient, steady, and they still do the same now. They move across beaches under moonlit tides, slow, silent, almost unchanged from their earliest ancestors. Their blood is blue, thick and copper-rich, a color we rarely see in nature. It reacts to harmful bacteria instantly, a built-in defense that has protected them for ages. That same sensitivity is why humans use their blood to test medical equipment, though we're now learning safer methods. But in the wild, that light blue fluid has helped them survive through countless shifts in climate and ocean chemistry. It is a liquid memory of Earth's old oceans, a quiet reminder of how ancient life can be. Then there is the coelacanth, a deep-sea fish once believed extinct. For 70 million years, scientists thought it had vanished, a beautiful fossil frozen in stone, never to return. But in 1938, a living one appeared in a fisherman's net off the coast of South Africa, alive, calm, moving its fins like slow underwater wings. It had survived unnoticed in the deep darkness, a creature from the ancient world quietly gliding through modern seas. The coelacanth's body is strange. Its fins are thick and limb-like, almost like the early steps toward walking. Its movements are slow and rhythmic, as if time flows differently around it. It carries features seen in fossils from a world long gone, yet it continues without urgency, without rush, a living whisper from the past. When people see it for the first time, they often feel a soft sense of awe, a gentle disbelief that something so old can still exist today. But ancient survivors aren't always animals. Some are minerals, silent and unchanging, yet older than any creature alive. Zircon crystals are among the oldest materials on Earth. Tiny specks, smaller than grains of sand. But they hold stories from more than 4 billion years ago. They formed when Earth was still cooling, when the surface was magma, when oceans were only beginning to appear. Each crystal carries tiny chemical traces of early conditions, a faint memory locked inside. These crystals are older than mountains, older than continents, older than the moon as it looks today. Holding one, if we could, would feel like holding a fragment of Earth's earliest breath, a piece of time so ancient it stretches beyond imagination. And yet, these crystals are real, solid, quiet, sitting in rocks that have been uplifted, eroded, buried, and revealed again, patient through every cycle. Other living fossils walk among us in everyday places. The ginkgo tree, for example. Its leaves are simple fans, smooth, soft-edged, the same shape they held when giant insects hovered above prehistoric forests. Ginkgo trees have survived ice ages, extinctions, and shifting climates. They endured volcanic winters and long droughts. They stood through eras when whole lineages vanished. But they stayed, rooted, still, calm in their resilience. When you sit under a ginkgo tree, especially in autumn when the leaves turn bright gold, you are sitting beneath a species that watched entire ages rise and fade, a quiet elder of the plant world, a gentle remnant of time that refuses to disappear. In deserts, some organisms survive by staying unchanged at the smallest scale. Cyanobacteria, ancient microorganisms, built the first oxygen-producing systems. They shaped the atmosphere. They changed the world for every life form that came after. And yet, they look almost the same today. Drifting in water or hiding beneath rocks, still performing the same slow work, still breathing out oxygen in quiet rhythm. Their simplicity is their strength. Their patience is their survival. Ferns hold a similar story. They once grew taller than houses, towering fronds rising over swampy landscapes. Today they are smaller, softer, but their structure is nearly identical to those early giants. Their spirals, their spores, their delicate leaflets unfolding in gentle motion, a choreography unchanged for hundreds of millions of years. When you see a fern unfurl in slow spirals, it's like watching a movement that has practiced for ages, a calm repetition, steady, familiar. Sharks, too, carry ancient patterns. Some species have changed very little in shape or behavior. Efficient senses, slow, purposeful motion. They survived extinctions that wiped out most life. They endured oceans heating and cooling, yet their design remained. A form so effective it needed no revision. Watching a shark glide is like watching the ocean remember its past. All these creatures and stones and plants create something beautiful, a soft reminder that time is not always forceful, not always shaped by dramatic changes. Sometimes survival means staying the same, holding on to what works, remaining steady when everything else shifts around you. There is a calm wisdom in that, a quiet lesson written into their ancient forms. These beings are like time capsules. They carry the memory of worlds we never saw. They show us landscapes long vanished, oceans that existed before continents formed, atmospheres that would be toxic today. They survived all of it. They endured without seeking attention. And now, when we encounter them, we feel a slow, hushed awe, a sense that we are standing close to something older than thought, older than history. And as you drift deeper into this gentle understanding, the world around you begins to feel larger, older, softer. You start to sense the presence of age in the smallest details, a pattern on a shell, a vein in a leaf, a shimmer in a crystal. They all hold whispers of time, quiet, patient, endless. These ancient survivors guide us gently through the past. They show that life doesn't always need to transform. Sometimes simply enduring is extraordinary. Sometimes staying the same is its own form of brilliance. And as we move forward into the next mysteries of nature, they leave a soft echo, a reminder to slow down, to breathe, to notice, because the ancient world is still here, living beside us, waiting to be seen. The world is full of places that feel like they were imagined rather than built. Landscapes so strange and surreal that standing in them feels like stepping into a dream. Mountains made entirely of salt, deserts that sing, lakes hidden beneath sand, forests that seem to breathe clouds into the sky. These are the hidden corners of Earth, places that challenge our sense of reality and invite us to wander slowly, to notice what is unusual and extraordinary. In some parts of the world, ancient seas left behind vast deposits of salt. Over millions of years, tectonic shifts lifted these crystals into mountains, glimmering white under the sun. Iran's Mount Kunamak of salt rises sharply, its slopes sparkling with every subtle movement of light. Bolivia's Salar de Uyuni, the world's largest salt flat, stretches endlessly, its surface so bright it can be seen from space. The salt ridges there glimmer like frozen waves. Step carefully, and you feel as though you are walking across a surface not of Earth, but of something imagined. The air is dry, still, almost reverent. These salt mountains remind us that even the ground beneath our feet carries stories of oceans long vanished. Some deserts do more than simply lie silent. They sing. In the Gobi, the Namib, and the Mojave, certain dunes create deep, low hums when the wind sweeps across them. Marco Polo wrote of it centuries ago, a haunting melody drifting across the desert plains. It is not music in the human sense, but a vibration carried through the earth itself. Walking on these dunes, you feel the notes reverberate through your body, a reminder that even barren landscapes have secrets and voices. The desert hums, almost like it remembers the winds of the past, echoing across time. Beneath the surface of some deserts, water hides in ways few ever imagine. Aquifers, underground lakes, stretch for kilometers, storing rains from thousands of years ago. In the Sahara, this water lies trapped under layers of rock and sand, waiting. Occasionally, it emerges in springs, creating oases that appear as miracles in a sea of gold. People, animals, and plants depend on these hidden reservoirs, proof that life persists quietly, even in the harshest conditions. Imagine standing on shifting dunes, knowing that beneath your feet, rivers of ancient water move slowly, unseen, sustaining life in secret. Forests, too, have powers we rarely notice. In the tropics, vast groves release water into the air through countless leaves. This moisture rises, condenses, and forms clouds. The Amazon, dense and deep, creates its own weather. Each leaf contributes a breath, a whisper of water that becomes part of the sky above. From above, these forest-made clouds drift like soft blankets, carrying rain to distant lands. Walk beneath the canopy and you feel it in the air, the humidity, the quiet pulse of a forest that sustains itself, shaping the climate without ever speaking. The trees are alive not just in their roots and leaves, but in the clouds they send upward, reaching for the sky. Salt flats, singing dunes, underground lakes, and forest clouds. These extreme landscapes share a subtle magic. They exist quietly, often unnoticed, yet they are alive in their own way. Each carries a rhythm, a secret motion. The salt reflects light like a slow pulse. The dunes resonate with vibrations that ripple through your chest. The hidden lakes hold water from ancient rains waiting to nurture life. The forest exhales vapor, crafting clouds with every breath. Standing in these places, you sense that Earth is not just a planet of land and water, but a living canvas, full of unseen motion and gentle wonders. Some landscapes transform in ways that feel impossible. In the deserts of southern New Mexico, White Sands National Park glows in dazzling pale blue and white. The dunes are made of gypsum crystals, soft and smooth beneath your fingers. Wind sculpted them over millennia, creating waves and curves that shimmer under the sun. At night, under moonlight, the dunes glow like a frozen ocean. Walking there is surreal. Your footprints vanish as quickly as they form, the sand shifting silently, almost as if the land itself breathes and moves around you. It is a reminder that even something as solid as a desert can change slowly, quietly, with patience and time. Rivers sometimes flow beneath the ice, unseen yet persistent. In Antarctica, subglacial rivers cut paths through the frozen landscape, hidden beneath kilometers of ice. Their waters move slowly, kept liquid by geothermal heat and the immense pressure of ice above. These hidden rivers sustain microbial life that has been isolated for millions of years, untouched by the sun. Life continues in darkness, in cold, in secrecy. The thought of these hidden flows feels almost dreamlike, a parallel world running beneath the surface of our own. In places where sand is perfect and dry, dunes sing in other ways. Grains rubbing against one another create vibrations that ripple through entire slopes. The resulting notes are low, resonant, and strangely musical. Stand on a ridge, feel the vibration under your feet, and listen. The sound is ancient, as if the desert itself remembers the footsteps of travelers who walked here centuries ago. It is a soft, natural symphony, one that does not demand attention but rewards the quiet observer who pauses and listens. Even mountains have their own hidden worlds. Salt mountains, sculpted by wind and time, glimmer with mineral colors. Rain carves slow, delicate patterns into their faces. Small caves and ridges appear, hiding tiny ecosystems within. Crystals sparkle in secret pockets, and lichen grows quietly on sun-bleached slopes. These landscapes teach us that even places that seem lifeless are teeming with hidden activity. Every slope, every grain tells a story of patience, of transformation measured in millennia. And there are forests that surprise us. In certain groves, trees release scents to signal danger or share nutrients through underground root networks. They communicate silently, like a hidden city beneath the soil. This communication allows them to survive, to thrive, to create microclimates and even influence the clouds above. Watching a forest in mist or drizzle, you sense it as a living organism. every branch, every leaf contributes to a rhythm of life larger than any single tree. And in its shadows, you feel yourself becoming smaller, slower, attuned to the quiet wonders surrounding you. Extreme landscapes show us the patience of nature. They remind us that life exists not only in the visible, immediate moments, but in hidden flows, in subtle vibrations, in slow transformations. Salt mountains sparkle because of ancient seas. Singing dunes resonate because of precise grains. Underground lakes exist because water has a memory. Forests make clouds because each leaf quietly exhales. These are all whispers of the planet's hidden rhythms, waiting for someone to notice, to pause, to breathe. As you drift through these impossible places, it is easy to feel suspended in time. A sense of calm emerges. Each landscape, whether frozen, sung, or hidden, invites reflection. There is no rush here, no urgency. Only the slow, patient creativity of a planet that has had billions of years to craft secrets. And as you listen, imagine walking across a glittering salt flat. Feel the hum of a desert dune beneath your feet. Sense the hidden river moving silently under kilometers of ice. Stand beneath a forest, sending its tiny breaths to the sky. Notice the pulse of life in the most unexpected forms. Each step, each moment, a gentle reminder that Earth is full of hidden wonders, waiting patiently for us to see. The world beneath the surface of water is often invisible, yet it holds some of the most extraordinary and hidden wonders on Earth. Rivers that flow beneath the sea, waterfalls cascading in darkness, lakes trapped beneath glaciers, and caves that seem to breathe. These are landscapes shaped not by human hands, but by the quiet persistence of nature. As we move slowly into these watery realms, we begin to sense a rhythm, a pulse, a hidden world flowing parallel to the one we see every day. Some of the most incredible rivers never appear on maps. Beneath the ocean, differences in temperature, salinity, and density create currents that act like rivers, moving silently along the sea floor. These underwater rivers carry sediments, nutrients, and life itself, shaping ecosystems far below the waves. In the Denmark Strait, between Greenland and Iceland, a dense river of Arctic water plunges beneath warmer Atlantic currents. It drops nearly 3,500 meters, 3 times the height of Angel Falls, forming an invisible waterfall that hums beneath the surface. To imagine this is to feel both awe and humility, a waterfall of immense scale, moving unseen, shaping the deep ocean with patient persistence. Beyond the oceans, fresh water hides in secret places. Beneath Antarctica's massive ice sheets, subglacial rivers and lakes flow silently in darkness. These waters remain liquid despite the extreme cold, warmed by geothermal heat and the weight of kilometers of ice pressing above them. The rivers carve paths beneath the frozen continent, connecting hidden lakes and sustaining life in the form of microscopic organisms. Life persists even in these extreme conditions, isolated for millions of years, untouched by sun or storm. Scientists drill carefully into the ice to study these secret waters, revealing a world both alien and astonishing, a hidden system of rivers beneath the most inhospitable place on Earth. Water also moves in places we can see but rarely notice. Some caves, large and labyrinthine, seem to breathe. Mammoth Cave in Kentucky, Wind Cave in South Dakota, and other subterranean systems exhale and inhale in rhythm with the outside world. When atmospheric pressure shifts, air flows into or out of cave openings, rustling leaves, moving dust, or blowing out candles near the entrance. Step inside one of these caves, and you feel the pulse of the earth itself, the slow breath of the underground. It is subtle yet profound, a reminder that the world is alive even where human eyes perceive only stillness. Water can create astonishing illusions. Underwater waterfalls, formed by density differences rather than gravity alone, cascade silently into the depths, their flows invisible from above. Salt water, colder and denser, slips beneath warmer currents like a ghostly river carrying its cargo of sediments and nutrients. The movement shapes ecosystems, guiding plankton, fish, and other marine life in ways that remain largely unseen. Imagine diving beside one of these flows, feeling the pull of the dense water, witnessing a waterfall that seems to defy gravity, a hidden current that exists beyond the realm of ordinary perception. Even lakes can hide themselves beneath ice and sand. In deserts like the Sahara, aquifers form ancient underground lakes containing water that fell thousands of years ago. These waters remain trapped beneath layers of rock and soil, occasionally revealed through springs or wells. To the untrained eye, the desert seems empty, lifeless, barren. Yet beneath the sand, life clings to these hidden reserves. Humans, animals, and plants have relied on these underground waters for survival, turning isolated pockets into thriving oases. The contrast is breathtaking. A barren landscape concealing reservoirs of life, quietly sustaining ecosystems far below the surface. The oceans themselves are full of secrets that only reveal themselves to the patient observer. Deep-sea creatures inhabit places of perpetual darkness where no sunlight penetrates. Some have enormous sensitive eyes to catch traces of bioluminescence. Others sense vibrations, pressure changes, or heat radiating from prey. Fish like the barrel-eye or lanternfish navigate these shadowed worlds, relying on senses humans can barely imagine. To drift through these depths is to feel a stillness, broken only by the gentle flicker of a glowing creature, the slow ripple of a hidden current. It is a world where silence reigns and every movement is purposeful, subtle, and precise. Water has a way of teaching patience. In underwater caves, stalactites drip slowly, forming delicate structures over centuries. Sediments settle in quiet pools, creating mirrored surfaces that reflect unseen ceilings. These waters may seem static, yet they are alive with motion invisible to the human eye. Microorganisms thrive in hidden niches. Minerals deposit layer by layer, slowly shaping the landscape. Every droplet, every flow contributes to the hidden architecture of life. The slow pace of these places encourages the observer to slow down, to notice the delicate pulse of the environment. Some phenomena are so rare that they feel magical. Brine pools on the ocean floor form dense, salty lakes beneath less saline water. These pools ripple and shimmer like dark glass, and life thrives around their edges, carefully adapted to the extreme salinity. The boundary between water and brine becomes a delicate, glowing interface, home to bacteria and specialized invertebrates. It is a hidden world within a world, a secret oasis for life in the deep ocean, proof that even in extremes nature finds a way. Flowing water, in its many forms, is not just a medium, it is a storyteller. Rivers carve canyons, waterfalls shape valleys, and underwater currents move unseen, connecting distant ecosystems. Lakes beneath ice or sand hold stories of ancient climates and forgotten rains. Subterranean caves exhale the rhythm of the earth. To imagine these hidden waters is to feel the gentle pulse of the planet, the invisible forces that sustain life quietly, persistently, everywhere. As you close your eyes and drift, picture the hidden rivers beneath the Antarctic ice, silently moving under kilometers of frozen water. Picture dense currents plunging like waterfalls beneath the sea, invisible to any observer from above. Hear the soft breathing of a cave, air moving in subtle tides. Imagine aquifers beneath deserts, their water long stored and patient, waiting for life to reach it. Feel the gentle motion of hidden lakes, the slow pull of underwater currents, the quiet illumination of bioluminescent creatures in the deep. Each is a reminder that the world is far larger and more mysterious than our eyes can capture. Water teaches us that life can exist quietly, hidden, and still be full of motion. The hidden waters of Earth invite reflection, wonder, and a gentle pause. In their silence, they tell us that the planet's rhythm is patient, enduring, and often imperceptible, but always present. Even if we never dive into the deepest oceans, never explore subglacial rivers, or stand within a breathing cave, we are surrounded by these wonders. They flow beneath, around, and through the world we walk in every day, quietly sustaining life, shaping the earth, and inspiring awe. The hidden waters remind us to move slowly, observe carefully, and listen deeply. Every ripple, every pulse, every gentle current is a story of persistence, of adaptation, of life thriving where we least expect it. In these underwater worlds, the impossible becomes real, and the silent rhythm of the planet continues, inviting anyone who dares to look beneath the surface to experience the soft magic of Earth's hidden waters. Nature has a way of challenging our expectations. While humans often marvel at our own ingenuity, some creatures quietly defy limits that seem insurmountable. Across rivers, oceans, forests, and frozen lands, animals perform feats that leave us breathless, not in explosions of spectacle, but in the quiet persistence of survival and adaptation. To observe these feats is to step into a world where determination, resilience, and instinct combine into acts that seem almost impossible. Consider the salmon, leaping waterfalls as part of an ancient ritual of life. Each year, these fish return to the exact streams where they were born, swimming hundreds of kilometers against strong currents. At times, these journeys require leaping up cascading waterfalls, bodies arched in precision and power. It is a struggle against gravity, speed, and the relentless flow of water. And yet, they persist, driven by instinct, reproduction, and the pulse of life itself. Watching a salmon hurl itself repeatedly into the unknown, landing in a turbulent pool only to leap again, is witnessing determination in its purest form. There is no audience, no applause, only the river, the fish, and the quiet triumph of persistence. Not all aquatic feats are large or dramatic. In Hawaii, gobies, small fish no bigger than a thumb, climb waterfalls using tiny suction-like fins. Inch by inch, they ascend sheer rock faces, often carrying the weight of survival on their delicate bodies. Their journey may take hours or days, yet they do not falter. Their ability reminds us that the impossible is sometimes defined not by size or power, but by patience, adaptation, and unwavering persistence. Extreme environments breed extreme solutions. In the icy waters of the Antarctic, ice fish swim in seas below 0 degrees Celsius. Ordinary blood would freeze instantly, yet these creatures thrive thanks to unique antifreeze proteins in their blood. These proteins prevent ice crystals from forming, allowing life to continue where it seems impossible. Imagine gliding beneath the frozen waves, surrounded by a world hostile to almost every other creature, yet alive with silent, thriving life. The ice fish remind us that life is not limited by conditions. It is limited only by the imagination of evolution. Some creatures survive both scorching heat and freezing cold, adapting in ways that boggle the mind. Tardigrades, microscopic water bears, are masters of survival. They can dry themselves into nearly lifeless states, endure boiling temperatures, and remain frozen solid for years. When conditions improve, they rehydrate, revive, and continue their lives as if nothing had happened. Their bodies, able to suspend metabolism almost entirely, are tiny miracles of resilience. It is a quiet marvel, one that teaches patience and endurance on a scale we rarely contemplate. Amphibious animals, too, showcase feats that blur the line between worlds. Mudskippers traverse land and water with equal ease, using their pectoral fins to walk across mudflats in search of food or mates. They breathe through their skin and the lining of their mouth, defying the strict boundaries of aquatic and terrestrial life. Observing them is like witnessing a creature perform a carefully choreographed dance, stepping between two worlds, perfectly adapted to the rhythm of both. Each movement is a story of survival, each step a silent triumph over the limitations of habitat. Intelligence often pairs with physical feats in surprising ways. Tool use, once thought uniquely human, is found across the animal kingdom. Chimpanzees strip leaves from twigs to fish termites from their mounds. Sea otters float on their backs, cracking shellfish against stones placed carefully on their chests. Even birds, like crows, demonstrate creativity, dropping nuts onto roads for passing cars to crack, then retrieving them when safe. Dolphins carry marine sponges on their snouts to forage without injury along jagged coral reefs. These behaviors reveal problem-solving, learning, and sometimes teaching across generations, a quiet, patient intelligence expressed through action. Even the smallest creatures achieve remarkable feats. Ants construct bridges with their own bodies, forming living chains to cross gaps or transport heavy loads. Leafcutter ants cut leaves, carry them back to their nests, and cultivate fungi in perfectly organized gardens underground. Each action is part of a complex system, a miniature world operating with precision and purpose. Observing these behaviors reminds us that ingenuity is not measured in size or grandeur, but in the subtle ways life adapts and overcomes obstacles. The natural world is full of surprises in locomotion. Flying fish soar above the waves, using their fins as wings to escape predators. Archerfish shoot jets of water to knock insects into the sea with deadly accuracy. These feats seem impossible until seen in the right light, repeated, practiced, and perfected over generations. It is a testament to the quiet teaching of evolution, guiding creatures toward solutions that seem almost magical. Some feats seem as much mental as physical. Migration is one such challenge. Monarch butterflies travel thousands of kilometers across continents, guided by instincts we are only beginning to understand. Arctic terns fly from pole to pole annually, navigating vast oceans, winds, and weather. To endure such journeys is a combination of navigation, stamina, and survival, a delicate dance across the globe, choreographed by nature itself. Observing animals performing the impossible teaches us about resilience in both body and spirit. It asks us to notice patience, persistence, and the subtle cues of the natural world. The salmon leaping waterfalls, the ice fish thriving in sub-zero waters, the goby climbing rocks, the ant forming living bridges. All demonstrate that boundaries are often flexible. They remind us that life does not yield to challenges passively, but meets them with adaptation, innovation, and quiet determination. In quiet reflection, we may realize that these feats are not merely survival tactics. They are stories written into the bodies, instincts, and genes of each creature. They are silent lessons about patience, endurance, creativity, and resilience. To witness them is to enter a world where every action matters, where the small and subtle can be just as extraordinary as the grand and dramatic. So, as you imagine these feats, let your mind drift to a waterfall where a salmon arcs through the mist, muscles tensing and flexing, repeating the impossible over and over. Picture the goby inching upward on wet rocks, guided by suction and instinct. Imagine the ice fish gliding through waters that would freeze any other blood. Picture a crow cleverly dropping a nut to use the world around it as a tool. Hear the rhythm of ants linking together to bridge gaps, moving as a single, living entity. In these moments, nature teaches in silence. Quiet admiration is all that is required. There is no need to cheer, no need to interfere. Simply watch, imagine, and wonder. The natural world continues, full of impossible feats happening every moment. It whispers the truth that persistence, adaptation, and ingenuity are not human inventions. They are the pulse of life itself. And if we pause, even briefly, we can learn from it, carrying a little of that quiet courage and creativity into our own lives. As you sit back and reflect, consider this. In every river, every ocean, every forest, and every hidden world, there are countless creatures performing feats we can barely comprehend. Their challenges are real, their victories subtle, and their lives a testament to the extraordinary possibilities that emerge when life refuses to be limited. This is the slow, gentle wonder of animals performing the impossible, a quiet celebration of life itself. As night descends, a quiet magic awakens across the world. Darkness is not emptiness, it is a canvas. And on this canvas, nature paints with light of its own making. Some of the most mysterious and enchanting spectacles are born where light seems impossible, illuminating hidden corners of the earth and oceans, inviting us to linger, observe, and wonder. Imagine standing on the edge of a calm bay under a moonless sky. The water before you begins to shimmer with tiny electric sparks. Each movement of a fish, each wave brushing the shore, ignites a ripple of light. This is the dance of bioluminescence, a phenomenon where living organisms generate their own glow. The effect is subtle, otherworldly, as if the water itself is breathing starlight. Microorganisms called dinoflagellates emit this glow when disturbed, creating trails of neon that follow the passing of a boat or the flick of a hand. There is a quiet, hypnotic rhythm to the display, a luminous pulse that seems almost alive, inviting calm reflection as the night wraps around you. Beneath the waves, in oceans too deep for sunlight to reach, creatures have developed their own lanterns. In these extreme depths, some fish have evolved glowing appendages, lures, and patterns to survive, hunt, and communicate. Anglerfish, with their eerie bioluminescent lures, dangle glowing filaments from their heads, drawing prey close enough to capture. Lanternfish shimmer in schools, creating waves of light that guide each other through the black expanse. The soft glow is a whisper in the dark, a gentle signal that life continues even in places where human eyes can see nothing. Bioluminescence is not merely functional. It is an intimate, almost poetic conversation between creatures. Some squid can flash patterns along their skin, communicating with others or confusing predators. Deep-sea jellyfish pulse in rhythmic glows, each flicker marking a beat in the slow, silent symphony of the deep. Light becomes language, subtle and precise, revealing that communication in nature is not always spoken or shouted. It can be gentle, almost imperceptible, yet profoundly effective. Even on land, nocturnal creatures carry tiny lanterns of their own. Fireflies flicker across darkened fields, performing intricate mating dances that have been perfected over millennia. Each flash is timed, a pulse of hope signaling presence, intent, and desire. Watching them, it is impossible not to slow down, to breathe in sync with their soft, radiant rhythm. The night is alive with these gentle illuminations, each tiny spark, a reminder that darkness is never truly empty. Bioluminescence often emerges in the most unexpected places. Deep caves, far from the reach of sunlight, host glowing fungi, mosses, and tiny insects. The walls, dimly lit by this faint greenish radiance, feel like a secret world waiting to be explored. Here, the forest of the underground whispers in glimmers, a silent narrative of life persisting where human senses would struggle. The glow is soft but persistent, an invitation to peer closer, to recognize the beauty that thrives in hidden spaces. Many of these glowing creatures use their light as camouflage, a subtle strategy known as counter-illumination. By producing light on their undersides, they blend with the faint light from above, vanishing against the watery sky. It is a quiet, clever adaptation, a survival tactic that transforms the darkness into a protective cloak. To witness this is to understand that even in the blackest depths, nature is never passive. It is deliberate, creative, and astonishingly intricate. Some bioluminescent organisms also leave a trail of light that marks their passage, revealing movement otherwise invisible. Picture tiny plankton drifting with ocean currents, their soft, glowing outlines tracing paths through the unseen rivers beneath the waves. Or consider squid emitting phosphorescent clouds, vanishing in smoke like glimmers to confuse predators, only to slip away silently. Light becomes both guide and shield, a means of life navigating an eternal night. The phenomenon of glowing bays and deep-sea lights also carries an element of rhythm, almost musical in its repetition. Each flicker, each pulse, each trail of illumination seems choreographed, as if nature itself conducts a silent orchestra beneath the stars. The effect is mesmerizing. Eyes adjust, thoughts slow, and the mind drifts in step with the ebb and flow of gentle luminosity. It is a sensory experience that combines sight, soundless motion, and imagination, wrapping observers in a cocoon of quiet awe. Bioluminescence also reminds us of the extraordinary adaptability of life. In environments where energy is scarce, where heat, pressure, or darkness could end survival, light becomes a tool, a companion, a strategy. It is a gift of evolution, a small miracle repeated across countless species. Every spark in a glowing bay, every flicker of a firefly, every shimmer in the abyss is an answer to the challenges of the night, a gentle solution to a relentless question of existence. There is something profoundly calming about witnessing life illuminate darkness. In a glowing bay, every ripple mirrors stars above. In a deep-sea expanse, light flickers like distant galaxies, mysterious yet intentional. Fireflies in a summer field appear as floating lanterns of quiet hope, and bioluminescent fungi illuminate caves as if leaving a soft breadcrumb trail for explorers of the unseen. The world becomes a nocturnal tapestry where shadows are not oppressive but inviting, where darkness holds magic rather than fear. As you imagine these scenes, let your thoughts drift like a slow current. Picture the soft trail of glowing plankton beneath a moonless sea, the subtle pulse of jellyfish drifting in silence, the synchronized flashes of fireflies above a quiet meadow. Feel the gentle rhythm of life persisting in the absence of daylight, each spark a reminder that even the darkest places harbor wonder. Here, the night is alive, not with noise or chaos, but with luminous patience and subtle beauty. In this nocturnal world, the familiar rules of day seem suspended. Darkness is not a limit but a canvas, and light, no matter how faint, is a story. From deep oceans to shallow bays, from forest floors to hidden caves, life finds a way to shine. And the beauty is in the quietness, in the softness of these glows, in the slow unfolding of light that invites reflection rather than demands attention. It is a gentle reminder that wonder is not always loud. Sometimes it whispers, sometimes it flickers, sometimes it glows softly beneath the surface, waiting for eyes willing to notice. So, as your imagination floats through glowing waters and silent, luminous depths, remember that light exists even where we cannot see it directly. Bioluminescent wonders teach patience, attentiveness, and the quiet joy of noticing small miracles. They remind us that nature is alive in darkness, active in silence, and capable of astonishing beauty when we slow down and allow ourselves to observe. In the hush of night, the world continues to shine, softly, steadily, endlessly. And if your eyes are growing heavy as you picture this scene, you can rest assured that the quiet glow of nature's light will persist, waiting patiently for the next gaze, the next mind willing to wander into the darkness and find wonder. Beneath our feet, The earth is never truly still. Even in what seems like the quietest, most unchanging landscapes, subtle processes shape and shift the world, creating rhythms and patterns that unfold over centuries and millennia. Some of these movements are so slow, so gentle, that they escape notice, yet they carry within them the history and memory of the planet itself. To wander through these landscapes is to step into a story written in stone, sand, and soil, a story that whispers rather than shouts. Consider the strange phenomenon of stones that grow. In certain regions, rocks appear to change shape over the years, slowly swelling as layers of minerals accumulate. In Romania, for instance, there are unusual formations known as troants. After heavy rains, water seeps through the porous surfaces of these stones, leaving behind dissolved minerals. Over decades, this slow layering creates new shapes, as if the stones themselves are breathing and growing. The process is so gradual that the passage of time feels almost imperceptible, yet the results are undeniable. Each bulbous protrusion, each subtle curve tells a story of water, wind, and minerals working in quiet harmony. To stand before such a stone is to feel the patient hand of time shaping the world, a reminder that even the seemingly inert earth has a pulse. Across deserts, the earth can also speak through sound. Have you ever heard the strange, haunting hum of singing dunes? In some arid regions, steady winds sweeping across sand create deep, resonant tones that carry for kilometers. This booming, sometimes low-pitched vibration emerges when sand grains of specific sizes and dryness slide over one another in unison. It is a natural symphony, orchestrated by the simple interplay of wind and sand. Marco Polo wrote about it centuries ago, describing how the Gobi Desert seemed to sing when the wind blew. Today, scientists understand the physics behind the phenomenon, yet its effect remains mesmerizing, a desert that hums, a landscape that speaks, reminding us that even barren spaces are alive with subtle activity. Beneath the surface, tectonic forces and geological movements continue to shape mountains, valleys, and riverbeds. Rocks bend, crack, and fold under immense pressure, moving imperceptibly over decades and centuries. Ancient seas evaporated, leaving behind salt deposits that would later rise into gleaming mountains. Wind and water erode surfaces, exposing crystalline structures and creating caves and hidden channels. This slow choreography of erosion and deposition is a form of storytelling written across the Earth's surface, illustrating the patient work of natural forces acting continuously, silently, and invisibly to human perception. Even forests and soil exhibit quiet dynamics that mirror a living organism. Forest floors shift with the decomposition of leaves and plants, nutrient cycles pulsing through roots and microorganisms. Trees exchange chemical signals, releasing subtle compounds into the air to warn neighbors of potential threats. Roots grow and intertwine like hidden circuits beneath the soil, forming networks that transport nutrients, water, and messages between individuals. The forest, in essence, behaves as a single living entity, each component interconnected, responding collectively to stress, change, or opportunity. Walking through such a forest, it is possible to sense this invisible energy, this subtle communication, as though the landscape itself were aware and responsive. Water plays a gentle but persistent role in shaping living landscapes. Underground lakes and rivers flow beneath deserts and ice sheets, carving paths unseen but felt through the vitality they sustain. Springs emerge unexpectedly, forming oases where plants and animals gather in quiet abundance. Streams, though slow, carry minerals that build formations over centuries, shaping caves, cliffs, and shorelines. These water-based processes demonstrate that the Earth is not static, it moves, remembers, and adapts, creating spaces where life can flourish, even in the harshest conditions. In volcanic regions, The land itself can appear almost conscious. Lava flows reshape landscapes, forming new islands or replenishing soil with mineral-rich deposits. Hot springs bubble to the surface, carrying dissolved chemicals that nourish specialized ecosystems. Over time, cooled lava transforms into stone, moss, and lichens colonize, and life begins anew in a slow, deliberate cycle. The Earth, in these instances, is not simply a backdrop but an active participant in the drama of life, its movements orchestrating opportunity, challenge, and growth. Even glaciers, enormous rivers of ice, move quietly across the land. At first glance, they seem frozen, immobile, eternal. Yet, over decades, they grind valleys, shape mountains, and carry sediments that enrich soils far below. Beneath their surfaces, meltwater streams form hidden rivers, transporting nutrients and microbes. The ice is alive in its own way, a slow sculptor of landscapes that outlast human lifespans, reminding us of the patience and scale of geological time. Some of the quietest movements are microscopic, yet no less profound. Soil microbes, fungal networks, and mineral-rich sediments interact constantly, breaking down organic matter, recycling nutrients, and creating the conditions for life to persist. This interplay, invisible to the casual observer, is the heartbeat of ecosystems, a continuous flow of energy and transformation. The Earth is not merely a stage for life, it is a living matrix, simultaneously supporting, responding, and evolving with the organisms it sustains. There is a certain awe in recognizing that the Earth itself has memory. Just as plants can remember, droughts through chemical signals, landscapes record events in stone, sand, and ice. Each layer of sediment, each growth ring in a tree, each mineral deposit is a chronicle of past climates, geological shifts, and environmental change. Standing among these quiet witnesses, one can feel a connection to the deep history of the planet, an understanding that the present moment is but a fleeting breath in a long, unfolding narrative. As we wander through these living landscapes, it becomes clear that observation, patience, and attention are key. The growth of a rock, the resonance of sand, the movement of glaciers, or the whisper of a forest root network all demand a slow gaze, a willingness to notice what does not announce itself loudly. The Earth offers its wonders in quiet rhythms, in persistent gestures, and in subtle signs that reward those who are willing to slow down and tune in. And so, as you picture stones swelling under the touch of rain, dunes vibrating under the passage of wind, forests exchanging unseen signals, and glaciers inching across valleys, allow yourself to feel the pulse of the living Earth. It moves beneath, around, and through everything, often unnoticed, yet ceaseless, patient, and endlessly creative. This is a world where silence carries stories, where stillness hides movement, and where the soft rhythms of nature invite awe, curiosity, and gentle reflection. Take a moment to imagine walking through such a landscape. Let your senses absorb the subtle hum of the earth, the shifting sands, the gentle trickle of hidden waters, the slow growth of stones, the collective breath of forests. Nature's soft mysteries remind us that life and land are intertwined, that every motion, however subtle, has meaning. And as your thoughts drift through these landscapes, know that the earth continues to move, live, and tell its story, patient and eternal, beneath our feet and all around us. In the quiet corners of the natural world, life and death are intertwined in ways that can appear gentle, even graceful. There is a subtle poetry in survival, a rhythm that balances the needs of one organism against the other, shaping behaviors that, from a distance, feel like soft choreography rather than struggle. Some of the most astonishing examples are found not in the roar of predators or the flash of claws, but in the still, deliberate strategies of plants and animals quietly ensuring their survival. Take, for instance, carnivorous plants. These unusual plants are masters of patience and subtlety. The Venus flytrap, a creature so small it could fit in the palm of your hand, waits with delicate precision for its prey. Its hinged leaves lie open, lined with tiny sensory hairs. When an unsuspecting insect brushes against these hairs twice in rapid succession, the trap closes gently but firmly, capturing the visitor. It is not violence in the human sense, but a slow, natural mechanism designed for survival. Over days, the plant secretes enzymes that digest the insect, releasing nutrients that allow the plant to thrive in soils too poor to sustain life otherwise. There is a quiet beauty in this efficiency, a testament to nature's capacity to adapt without excess, without spectacle. Similarly, pitcher plants present a different kind of elegance in their deadly dance. Their deep, fluid-filled leaves form smooth, curved chambers, often lined with waxy surfaces that make escape nearly impossible for trapped insects. The vibrant colors and subtle fragrances act as invitations, guiding prey toward the liquid depths below. Yet even here there is grace. The plant does not chase or struggle, it merely exists in a perfect balance, allowing the laws of nature to unfold. Watching these interactions, one can sense a soft intelligence at work, a way in which survival is achieved without drama, without fanfare, only through form, function, and patience. Other plants, too, demonstrate remarkable strategies for survival that might seem like magic at first glance. Some flowers change color over time, signaling to pollinators which blooms offer fresh nectar and which have already been fertilized. The lantana camar, for example, begins with yellow flowers that gradually turn orange and then red. This gentle color shift communicates silently with bees and butterflies, guiding them to the most rewarding blooms. There is a quiet elegance here, a visual conversation between species that ensures mutual survival. The pollinators feed efficiently, and the plant reproduces effectively. Nature's subtlety extends beyond plants. Insects, small mammals, and even birds exhibit behaviors that blend survival with beauty. Certain spiders build intricate webs that shimmer in early morning light, designed not only to catch prey, but also to withstand wind and rain. Each thread is a masterpiece of geometry and tension, a delicate trap crafted with precision. The act of catching food is necessary, yet the web itself feels like a gentle sculpture, a moment of artistry woven into the fabric of survival. The silent struggle of life can also be observed in aquatic environments. Some small fish and amphibians have evolved methods of camouflaging themselves so perfectly that their predators pass by unaware. Their survival depends not on confrontation, but on patience, patience that is honed over generations. Each movement, each stillness, is carefully calculated by instinct, allowing life to persist quietly. These adaptations, though born from necessity, carry a subtle aesthetic, a form of soft beauty shaped by the pressures of the environment. Even among the largest creatures, survival often takes the form of quiet elegance. Birds of prey, for instance, glide silently above forests or grasslands, scanning for movement with almost imperceptible wing beats. When they strike, it is swift and efficient, leaving little disturbance to the surrounding ecosystem. Their hunting is part of a natural rhythm, a balance that has existed for millennia. Observing such a bird in motion, one cannot help but notice the harmony in its actions, the calm, deliberate orchestration of instinct and skill. Returning to the plant kingdom, some species combine both movement and chemical strategy in remarkable ways. Acacia trees, when threatened by insects, release airborne compounds that alert neighboring trees. This silent communication triggers the production of bitter or toxic compounds, creating a coordinated defense. The process is subtle, almost invisible, yet immensely effective. What seems like stillness is, in fact, an intricate network of signals and responses, a reminder that even what appears passive in nature may be a site of profound activity. There is a delicate rhythm in these deadly behaviors, one that blends efficiency with beauty, strategy with grace. Each action, whether the closing of a trap, the color change of a flower, or the stealth of a predator, has evolved to sustain life. None of it is haphazard or chaotic. It is measured, precise, and purposeful. The quiet patience in these interactions allows ecosystems to flourish, maintaining a balance that seems both fragile and resilient at once. Even the smallest details can be captivating. Watching a dragonfly land on a wet leaf, pausing just long enough to adjust its position before darting after prey, reveals the poetry inherent in everyday survival. A snail slowly inching across mossy stones in search of sustenance demonstrates persistence and delicacy in equal measure. And beneath the surface of ponds and streams, tiny microorganisms engage in their own silent battles, digesting, reproducing, and interacting with an elegance that is invisible to the casual observer but crucial to the health of the ecosystem. The underlying message is clear. What appears deadly or harsh in nature often carries a subtle beauty, a lesson in efficiency, patience, and quiet adaptation. Life is not always loud or dramatic. It is often softly persistent, unfolding in ways that reward careful observation and gentle attention. In the quiet moments, when you imagine a fly trapped in a Venus flytrap or a flower shifting color to communicate with a pollinator, there is space to appreciate the artistry of life itself, a kind of slow-motion choreography orchestrated by evolution over millions of years. As we reflect on these behaviors, there is a calmness that comes from recognizing the soft patterns of survival. It is a world where necessity meets elegance, where danger and beauty coexist, and where every organism, plant, or creature carries a story of adaptation and endurance. There is no rush, no dramatization, only the quiet, persistent pulse of life finding a way in the air, on the ground, and beneath the surface of water. So, as your thoughts drift through, picture the Venus flytrap closing ever so gently around its prey, the pitcher plant waiting patiently for an insect, the color-shifting flowers signaling to attentive pollinators, and the silent communication of trees defending one another. Imagine the calm, persistent flow of life, each behavior carefully tuned to the world it inhabits, each action a note in a symphony of survival. And let yourself feel the soft wonder of nature's strategies, where even the deadly is rendered beautiful through the subtle rhythms of life. There are places on our planet where time seems to flow differently, where the quiet pulse of life continues undisturbed by human presence. These are the remote worlds, hidden corners of Earth that remain largely untouched, where ecosystems persist in their original rhythms and landscapes unfold without interference. In such places, the familiar signs of modern life, roads, buildings, vehicles, are absent. Instead, there is only the soft, enduring cadence of nature and a sense that the Earth itself is breathing slowly, deliberately, and deeply. Deep within these untouched realms, rainforests flourish, dense and layered like living tapestries. Some stretches are so isolated that no human has ever walked beneath their towering canopies. The air is thick with moisture, carrying the scent of damp earth, blooming flowers, and decaying leaves, each element contributing to the forest's silent symphony. Sunlight filters through the branches in soft, shifting patterns, illuminating motes of pollen and the flutter of hidden wings. Here, life thrives in astonishing diversity. Orchids bloom on moss-covered trunks, monkeys swing from vine to vine, and tiny frogs with vibrant colors inhabit every shadowed nook. Every creature, every plant participates in an intricate dance of survival, and none of it is guided by human hands. The forest is a self-sustaining orchestra, each species contributing its own delicate note, and each interaction a testament to the enduring power of untouched nature. Beyond the forest, isolated caves offer another window into worlds largely unseen. Deep beneath the surface, vast caverns stretch for miles, their walls encrusted with minerals that shimmer faintly in the dim light of exploration lamps. These underground spaces feel like ancient cathedrals carved by time itself, with stalactites and stalagmites rising as silent sentinels. Some caves remain completely sealed, their air untouched by humans for millennia. In these hidden chambers, unique ecosystems survive on the sparse resources available. Blind fish navigate with acute sensitivity, insects scuttle across the rocky floors, and microbial life thrives in conditions that seem inhospitable to most known organisms. The stillness of these caves is profound. Every sound, a drop of water, a rustle in the sediment, echoes in a way that reminds you of the scale and patience of nature. Entering one is like stepping into a world entirely apart from our own, a place where life has evolved its rhythms free from external interference. Above the caves, remote mountains rise like silent guardians, their peaks veiled in mist or clouds. Many of these mountains are so isolated that they have never felt the touch of human feet. Their slopes are carved by wind, rain, and ancient glaciers, shaping landscapes that shift slowly across millennia. Alpine meadows bloom in secret, filled with flowers that sway in gentle patterns, unnoticed except by the occasional wandering animal. Birds of prey nest in craggy cliffs, and marmots or mountain goats traverse steep passes with quiet precision. These mountains feel timeless, as though they have always existed and will continue to do so long after we are gone. There is a deep serenity in standing on such a peak, imagining the countless generations of life that have passed in these spaces without ever encountering humans. The world here moves to its own rhythm, a rhythm defined by the seasons, the snow, the wind, and the slow processes of erosion and growth. Descending into the ocean, the planet's remoteness continues in the deep trenches, realms that remain largely unvisited even in modern times. These vast underwater chasms plunge thousands of meters below the surface, where sunlight cannot penetrate and pressure builds in unimaginable ways. Life here has adapted to extremes. Bioluminescent creatures create their own light, slow-moving fish navigate in near-total darkness, and microbial communities flourish around hydrothermal vents. These deep-sea worlds feel like hidden galaxies beneath the waves, each organism carefully balanced with its neighbors, each interaction a quiet miracle. To imagine drifting through one of these trenches is to witness the Earth in its purest form, untouched, mysterious, and resilient. It is not only the scale of these untouched worlds that captivates the imagination, but also the subtle details. In a remote rainforest, you might notice the slow spiral of a fern unfurling its fronds, or a bird quietly calling from a hidden perch. In an unvisited cave, you might watch a single drop of water carve a tiny channel into ancient stone, a process that has repeated itself unseen for thousands of years. On a distant mountain, the gentle curve of a snowfield or the sudden burst of wildflowers after a brief spring rain reminds you that life persists with quiet determination. In these moments, even the smallest observations carry profound significance. They are evidence of a world that thrives independently, one that continues to tell its story regardless of human presence. There is also a profound sense of scale in these untouched worlds. Looking across a vast valley, deep within a rainforest, or into the mouth of a cave, it becomes clear how small and fleeting our own existence is in comparison. Yet there is comfort in this awareness. Life is larger than any single species, more resilient than any single influence. The Earth's systems, untouched and self-regulating, provide a perspective that is both humbling and reassuring. It reminds us that life is not only about survival, but about persistence, adaptation, and quiet beauty over immense spans of time. Even in isolation, these spaces are not empty. They are full of connections that humans rarely perceive. A tree in a remote forest communicates with its neighbors through chemical signals. A cave supports entire ecosystems of specialized creatures, and deep-sea organisms interact in ways that influence global ocean currents and nutrient cycles. The interdependence of life is magnified in these untouched regions, where the absence of human interference allows ecosystems to function with subtle precision. It is a reminder that even the smallest or most hidden forms of life play a role in sustaining the larger web, and that the Earth's true wonders often lie beyond our immediate perception. Perhaps the most remarkable aspect of these remote worlds is the sense of drifting through them, as if time itself has slowed. There is no rush, no human-imposed urgency. A visitor, even if only in imagination, moves gently through the forest, the caves, the mountains, or the trenches, feeling the slow pulse of life and the enduring presence of Earth. Each step, each breath, each moment becomes an invitation to observe, to notice, and to appreciate. The world seems to whisper its secrets, offering glimpses of processes and connections that have evolved over eons. And in listening, one begins to understand that untouched does not mean lifeless. It means complete, intricate, and profoundly alive. As this journey through remote worlds comes to a gentle pause, the imagination may linger on the hidden rainforests, the isolated caves, the mountains that have never been climbed, and the trenches that remain mostly unexplored. These places exist quietly, persistently, and beautifully, reminding us of the vastness and mystery of the Earth. They invite reflection, patience, and wonder, offering a slow, soft meditation on life that continues regardless of human observation. Even if we cannot visit these spaces ourselves, we can carry their presence in our minds, allowing the imagination to wander through untouched realms and experience the calm, timeless rhythm of the Earth itself. Above us stretches the endless canopy of the sky, a vast, ever-changing map of stars, clouds, and light. To most of us, it is a backdrop, a silent stage for the sun's journey, the moon's slow rotation, and the occasional flight of birds. But for countless creatures across the planet, the sky is a living guide, a chart for journeys that span hundreds, even thousands of kilometers. Long before humans used compasses or satellites, life itself discovered ways to navigate, to read the heavens, and to move with precision and purpose across the Earth. Consider the migratory birds that travel night after night under the quiet brilliance of the stars. Young birds, some never having experienced migration before, can recognize the constellations and use them as guides. The indigo bunting, for example, aligns its path with the rotation of the night sky around the North Star, instinctively understanding its position relative to home. It is as if the bird has a celestial map written into its very being, a silent knowledge handed down through countless generations. Watching these journeys unfold, even from a distance, evokes a sense of awe, a reminder that life on Earth has always found ways to move, to explore, and to return home, guided by forces beyond our perception. But it is not only the stars that serve as navigational cues. Many creatures are attuned to the Earth's magnetic field, sensing the invisible lines that stretch across continents and oceans. Sea turtles hatch on a moonlit beach, instinctively orienting themselves toward the ocean, and then, years later, navigate back to the very shores where they were born. Salmon swim upstream with astonishing accuracy, overcoming waterfalls and turbulent currents to reach their birthplace, guided by a combination of magnetic cues, water chemistry, and instinct. Even insects, like monarch butterflies, rely on magnetic fields and the position of the sun to complete their multi-generational migrations. The precision of these journeys, occurring year after year, speaks to a quiet intelligence written into the natural world, a system of orientation that requires neither instruction nor trial. It simply exists. In the early hours of dusk or the deep hours of night, one can imagine standing beneath the sky and sensing the slow pulse of these migrations. The rustle of wings, the faint calls across darkened landscapes, the silent paths of creatures moving with unwavering certainty, all of it unfolds in harmony with the turning of the earth. There is a rhythm to these movements, one that mirrors the patterns of the cosmos itself. The world feels alive, its surface crisscrossed with invisible highways mapped in instinct, magnetic forces, and celestial cues. Even the sun plays a role in these ancient navigation systems. As it rises and sets, creatures can measure the passing hours and maintain their bearings. Ants, bees, and other insects use the sun's position in conjunction with internal clocks to traverse complex routes, finding food and returning to their hives or nests with astonishing accuracy. This solar orientation, combined with celestial navigation at night, creates a layered system of guidance that is both elegant and precise. Life, it seems, has learned to read light in ways that are subtle and extraordinary, turning patterns of sun and stars into a map that stretches across forests, oceans, deserts, and mountains. Some species go further, combining multiple navigational cues in ways that seem almost miraculous. Migratory birds may blend star maps, magnetic fields, solar positioning, and even olfactory cues to arrive at exact destinations across continents. Whales navigate vast oceans, following underwater currents and magnetic cues over thousands of kilometers. Each migration is a journey of precision, endurance, and remarkable timing, synchronized with seasonal cycles and environmental changes. The coordination is seamless, almost dreamlike, as if each creature carries an invisible chart etched deep within its genes, waiting for the right season to unfold. The calm beauty of these journeys is not always visible to us, yet it exists everywhere. Imagine the indigo buntings flying silently over a quiet forest, the monarch butterflies drifting across open fields, or the salmon leaping against rushing waterfalls under the fading light. These movements are delicate, patient, and purposeful, each step or beat of wings echoing the rhythm of nature itself. Even the smallest creatures, ants tracing paths back to hidden food sources, bees weaving through flowering meadows participate in this ancient system of navigation. There is a quiet poetry in the way life moves, guided by forces invisible to the human eye, yet intimately known to those who rely on them. In the skies, the patterns are not static. Stars drift across the heavens, clouds shift with wind and weather, and the sun's path slowly changes with the seasons. Yet life has evolved to adapt, reading the subtle shifts and adjusting course as necessary. Juvenile birds learn to calibrate their internal maps by observing the changing positions of stars and sun. Insects fine-tune their routes to account for seasonal changes, and migratory fish sense magnetic shifts in ocean currents. The intelligence of these systems is quiet, nonverbal, and profound. It is a reminder that navigation is not simply about movement. It is about perception, adaptation, and harmony with the larger cycles of the planet. There is a certain stillness in imagining these journeys, a sense of floating alongside creatures guided by instinct and cosmic patterns. The calm night sky, the steady rotation of the earth, the gentle arc of the sun, all provide cues that life has read and followed for millennia. In these moments, one can sense the continuity of existence, the passing of generations, and the unseen lines that connect distant places. The earth becomes a living map, and every creature a traveler, moving with patience, grace, and purpose. As this exploration of ancient navigation systems draws to a close, it invites reflection on the remarkable ways life has learned to move through the world. From the stars above to the magnetic fields beneath, from sunlight to subtle environmental cues, the guidance systems of life are intricate, elegant, and enduring. They remind us that even in the quiet of night, when human activity slows and the world seems still, life continues its journeys, silent, precise, and filled with purpose. It is easy to imagine the gentle hum of wings under starlit skies, the steady pulse of fins in ocean currents, and the subtle shifts of bodies moving in harmony with Earth's magnetic embrace. These are journeys that have existed long before us and will continue long after, echoing the enduring intelligence and beauty of life itself. Here, in the quiet observance of ancient navigation, there is both wonder and serenity, a gentle transition toward closure as the world hums softly beneath the vast sky that guides it. As your eyes begin to grow heavy and the world outside softens into quiet shadows, let us drift together one last time through the gentle rhythms of nature. This is not a journey of urgency, nor one of loud revelations. It is a calm stroll along hidden trails, through forests and deserts, beneath oceans and skies, where life moves at its own pace, patiently, endlessly. There is no need to hurry. Let your breath slow, and let your mind float with the soft unfolding of the world around you. Imagine standing beneath an ancient tree, its roots stretching deep into the earth, its branches whispering in the evening breeze. You can feel the subtle pulse of life in its trunk, the quiet conversations it shares with neighboring trees through unseen networks beneath the soil. Perhaps it is the same forest where the great Pando colony spreads across acres, a single organism expressed as many lives, interconnected, resilient, and enduring. Even in silence, you sense the heartbeat of the forest, the gentle rhythm of survival and communication that has existed for millennia. From here, we wander to the soft shimmer of a glowing bay at night. The water is alive with tiny bioluminescent creatures, each spark of light a small heartbeat of the ocean, twinkling and fading in patterns that seem almost deliberate. You can imagine dipping your hand into the cool water and watching the glow spread outward in delicate ripples, as if the sea itself were breathing softly. There is magic here, but not the loud, exaggerated kind. It is subtle, patient, and mesmerizing, an invitation to pause, to wonder, and to let the beauty settle deep within you. Far below the oceans, hidden rivers flow beneath the ice, carving paths in silence, carrying water that has remained untouched for millions of years. These secret currents shape the landscapes above, unseen but vital, reminding us that life thrives even in places hidden from view. Imagine the slow journey of a fish navigating these dark waters, or a creature sensing the faintest glimmers of light in absolute darkness, moving with perfect grace and patience. In these moments, nature seems to breathe alongside us, a quiet, omnipresent companion. Above, the stars wheel across the sky in timeless arcs, guiding birds and insects, fish and mammals, all carrying ancient maps written into instinct. You can imagine a lone bird tracing its path by the constellations, its wings slicing silently through the cool night air, each beat precise, confident, and calm. The sun, the moon, and the magnetic field of our planet all lend their guidance, subtle cues that life has learned to read for millennia. There is a serenity in this precision, a slow, deliberate rhythm that feels almost like a lullaby, played by the universe itself. Even the smallest details carry wonder. Picture a desert dune, its sands shifting with the wind, producing deep, resonant tones that hum softly as the grains slide past one another, or the rare plant that generates heat in the cold, or the carnivorous flower that waits patiently, almost elegantly, for its next meal. Each moment in nature holds an unexpected story, a silent lesson in patience, adaptation, and quiet ingenuity. And as you follow these stories, you begin to feel their rhythm, a gentle pulse that mirrors your own slowing heartbeat. Consider the animals that perform extraordinary feats, leaping waterfalls, surviving extremes of heat and cold, carrying tools, or navigating impossible landscapes. Their journeys are not frantic or desperate. They are measured, precise, and purposeful. Watching them, even just in the mind's eye, can fill you with a calm admiration, a quiet understanding that life's resilience is often expressed in the softest ways. There is no rush, only the steady, patient persistence that has allowed life to endure and flourish across eons. We drift back to forests that breathe, to plants that warn their neighbors, to underground lakes hidden beneath deserts, quietly sustaining life in the most unlikely places. All around us, the world is alive in subtle ways, moving, communicating, and evolving without fanfare. Even rocks can grow slowly over centuries. Deserts can sing, and crystals can hold the memory of a planet billions of years old. Everything, in its own time and manner, contributes to the endless story of Earth. And now, as the journey softens toward its close, imagine yourself lying beneath a canopy of trees, listening to the gentle rustle of leaves in the breeze. The air carries faint scents of rain, moss, and earth, each inhalation a reminder that life continues quietly, patiently, and without hurry. Perhaps you see the soft glow of bioluminescence in nearby water, or hear the distant call of a night bird navigating by the stars. All of it is calm, unhurried, and tender, a world that exists for itself and yet touches our hearts when we pause to notice. There is something deeply reassuring in this slow wandering through the wonders of nature. It reminds us that even when the day ends, even when our own minds are quieting for rest, life continues, quietly miraculous. It has no need for applause or recognition. It exists in all its forms, intricate and patient, inviting us to witness its beauty without rushing, without grasping, and without needing to fully understand. This is the soft language of Earth, whispered in rhythms and patterns, waiting for someone to listen. As your eyelids grow heavier, you might picture the slow turn of a forest canopy, clouds forming above, rivers winding beneath, and creatures continuing their silent journeys. You might feel the pulse of underground lakes, or the subtle guidance of stars on migratory birds far above. All of these wonders exist quietly, patiently, endlessly. They will remain, whether awake or asleep, and you are allowed, for now, to drift alongside them in your mind, letting the stories fade gently into dreams. And if, as your thoughts begin to soften and your breath slows, you find yourself still awake, you may explore the next video, another soft journey through nature's hidden wonders. But there is no urgency. For tonight, it is enough to simply rest, to let the earth continue its quiet movements while you drift, secure in the knowledge that life, beauty, and wonder are always here, patient, timeless, and endlessly full of stories. Thank you for allowing these moments to unfold with you. As you exhale one final time and sink deeper into rest, remember that the world waits, softly and endlessly, for anyone willing to notice. And when you return, the wonders of nature will still be here, ready to guide, to mesmerize, and to quietly inspire. Sleep now, gently, as the earth hums its eternal lullaby,